Well, folks, good evening to you, one and all, and welcome. Season 13, round number 2, FIA Formula 4 from OSCHERSLEBEn. Gary Fleming, Mike's side, and going to bring you as much of the action as we possibly can. And, well, we're already into quali. You can see the quali has just started, 1 minute 44 into the 12 minutes. The guys that come out right at the beginning will probably get anything up to about 6 laps, maybe even 7 laps they might even get in that period of time. And let's go and have a look, see who's going to be out there tonight. There's the first man that we can see out there on circuit, and that is in fact Graham Stephen. Also the likes of Herman Lazarus, Willem Botha in the South African flag colours, our new man Daniel Lamprechts, something a little bit different. Sandra Bakari, our leading Grandmaster, the success story of 2024, Timothy Stanton. The biggest competition for Sandra Bakari, Captain Peter van der Spey. Then we also have the likes of Being IT's Leon van Wyk. It's also getting pretty much involved in the production side of things and making it happen, and the choice of what cars are going to be used. And we'll see. Oh, Graham Stephen straight away goes to the top of the log on his first flyer. There goes Graham Stephen on a 122. Graham Stephen on a 122.62. Our new man Daniel Lamprechts was also pretty quick in the quali, so I'm not surprised that he's right up there in that second position. But I am a bit surprised that he's only 12 hundredths of a second off Graham Stephen. So either Graham's slightly slower than what he was earlier on, or Daniel Lamprechts is very much cooking out there. Timothy Stanton, the son of Rowley Stanton, Stanton Manifolds, legends in motorsport, taking as much of that curbstone as he possibly can, work his way out into the back straight. Let's have a look at that track map that we can pick it up for you. Not really going to try and come up with any of those names. I mean, the Chicane, Hotel, Triple, Stadion, Garage, Shell S's. I think we'll just stick with what's actually out there at any given point. And Timothy Stanton goes across the line on 122.902. Graham Stevens just put up another flyer out there, and that is a 122.418. So Willem Botha is also out on circuit now as well. There's Willem Botha. Gavin Fleming has not, it looks like he's practicing his starts there in the pits. He's on his way out. Leon van Wyk still on the second row of the grid as it stands at, sliding it through there. Taking it a little bit wider than what Graham Stephen does on that section, just touching on the edge of the grass. Leon van Wyk, 6/10 of a second. That's what he's looking for, just 6/10. Very late on the brakes. Carries lots of speed. They look very good. He carried a lot of speed through there. Second last corner. Stay on the green stuff. Ease it through on the gas. Let's see. Can Leon van Wyk bump it up? He's on the second row of the good. Graham Stevens just done an even faster time. Leon van Wyk, 123.679. So he's not going to get any quicker on that one at all. Sandra Bakari, the leading grandmaster, he's only 8/10 off the big hitters up front. Sandra Bakari, what a drive he's had towards the second half of last season. And he started this season on a roll as well. He's been blindingly quick, putting lots of pressure on Peter van der Spy and really stretching the legs. Just listen to the revs as he comes through. Oh, that last section was just literally a four-wheel drift as Sandro Bakari came through there, through that last section, a little bit tighter than everybody else on that one. So we don't have a time for Gavin and Willem Botha. Well, there comes Willem Botha, as he had a nice clean lap. Where will he come in? Or was that just his out lap? That was probably an out lap for Willem. Let's see, where is Gavin Fleming? I think he has done his out lap. I think he's now on a flyer. He's there in the Haas colours. So it's still on a 122. That is very, very quick. We've got the front two rows is all 1 minute 22. So 22.3 by Graham. A 22.5 by Daniel Lamprecht. A 22.8 by Timothy Stanton. A 22.9. That was why Leon van Wyk was pushing so hard. 1/10. That's all he needs. But then again, it's still going to keep him on the second row of the grid. It's not going to move him up at all. And then a Sandro Bakari on a 123.27. Gavin Fleming pops in a quick lap there, and he comes in on a 123.97. And that just 12 hundredths ahead of the 69 car of Herman Lazarus. It's almost like the Gunston colors, just a slightly deeper version of that orange. Peter van der Spy on a 124.16 as opposed to the 23.2 that's been put up by... Oh, Willem Botha in the house. Willem Botha comes through and puts in a 23.01. So Willem Botha back in South Africa, the head honcho from Toyota Gazoo, South Africa for the Dakar 2025. And this is the first time he's had an opportunity to come and race as well. I said, guys, I'm going to miss the first one, but I ain't going to miss the second one. I'll be back out there with you. 8 minutes 51 into 12 minutes of quali. And an even quicker lap by Graham Stephen. He just keeps on putting them down there. 122.24 by Graham Stephen. Daniel Lamprecht is just 3/10 off him. Leon van Wyk just 2/10 further back. Timothy Stanton 1/10 further back. Willem Botha, he finds himself about 12 hundredths further behind that. Gavin Fleming finds himself 1/10 off the back of Willem Botha. Ahead now of Sandro Bakari by just a 10th, as Sandro takes the candy car for a little flip around there, get the grass cut. Herman Lazarus is half a second off the back of Sandro Bakari. And then Peter van der Spy at 24.164. Oh, 24.164 Peter van der Spy. I'm sure he'll get a quicker lap in now. 9 minutes 57, call it 10 minutes gone of the 12 minutes, so still 2 minutes to go. So everybody that's out there can still get another lap in. It is possible. As we keep an eye on Peter van der Spy, he's 1.9 seconds off the front end of the grid. He's just 1 second off his nearest rival, and will probably be a little bit closer now. 123.972. Well, that is his quickest lap so far. That brings him 2/10 quicker. So Graham Stevens got into the pits. He says, I've done enough. I don't have a problem. 122.23 quicker than Daniel Lamprecht. Will he complete this lap? Yes, he will. Daniel Lamprecht, just 2/10, our new guy. Just 2/10 off Graham Stephen, and he's got some big names behind him as well. Leon van Wyk, yep, he's going to get another one in. Timothy Stanton, he's also coming around to put in a flyer as well. So let's see, what can Timothy Stanton do? Can he bump himself up onto that second, off the second row of the grid. He just swapped sides. That's all he could do. Timothy Stanton, a 122.57. Daniel Lamprecht on the front row of the grid, a 122.52. Wow, doesn't get any closer than that. Willem Botha, he's not going to be able to finish that one. Gavin Fleming, yes, he should be able to get this one in. Let's see, can he go any faster? It's just 8/10 off at the moment. Oh, he just made it across the line, but no, it wasn't any quicker at all. So that is the way that it played itself out. Let's have a look at that grid. Graham Stevens from Daniel Lamprecht. Timothy Stanton is right in there on the second row of the grid from Leon van Wyk. Willem Botha alongside the new kid on the block, Gavin Fleming. He'll be off to America soon. Sandra Bakari, Peter van der Spy standing alongside one another in 7th and 8th. And then Herman Lazarus in there behind that. So that is how it's going to play itself out. Let's get a little battle box up there. Let's get a little track map up there. Let's go to the front end of the field. Just Timothy Stanton. That's the one that's missing. Timothy Stanton. There we go. Timothy's in as well. Everybody is on the grid. And we just about good to go. Let's see. Where's our blimp floating around? Not in the right spot. We'll see what happens with that one. And off the line they come, and it's Graham Stevens has done a brilliant pull away. They're three abreast: Timothy Stanton, Leon, and Daniel. Daniel Lamprecht didn't come off the line as well as what he wanted to. Is everybody going to make it through pretty decently? Willem Botha's right in there as well. Willem Botha runs it towards that inside line. It's Leon that's on the outside, but Leon will be on the inside of the next corner with Willem on the outside line. As they work their way through. Behind that is Daniel Lamprecht. And Peter van der Spy has done a brilliant job. Peter van der Spy has moved up. Sandro Bakari has actually dropped down, so it didn't go well for Sandro Bakari. Gavin Fleming is the sandwich between those two. That's the Haas car. In front of him is Peter van der Spy. Behind him is the other Grandmaster, Sandro Bakari. But up front is Graham Stevens that got the gap right from the beginning. Timothy Stanton from Leon van Wyk, and it's Willem Botha is in the house. Willem Botha is right in there with them. He's not going to let them get away. Willem Botha, he was really chomping at the bit when he was still involved with the Dakar and not being able to race. And he said, don't worry boys, I'm on my way. Trying to have a look around the outside. It's Daniel that's in there directly behind them as they work their way through. Peter van der Spy behind Daniel Lamprecht. We've got a spinner at the back of the pack. I think it was the Herman Lazarus. Herman Lazarus was the man with the spin. Sandro Bakari in there behind Gavin Fleming, who's in there behind Peter van der Spy. Bit of a gap from Peter van der Spy going forward as Daniel Lamprecht. Willem Botha is really on the move. Willem Botha is putting the pressure on Leon van Wyk. Leon van Wyk has got a bit of space in front of him, but not too much at this stage of the fight. He's actually closing down pretty neatly. If we look back from Graham Stevens, that's how you take the pressure off. If we look back from Timothy Stanton, he's quite okay with Leon, but I think from Leon back to Willem, there you can see Willem and Daniel Lamprecht, who did manage to put up a quicker lap in the qualifying than the gents that's directly in front of him. Not been able to do too much more at this stage of the fight. And it looks like that is Gavin Fleming that's done a little pirouette there. Yep, he turns himself right around and that takes him out. Let's see exactly what happened with that one. He was just a little bit too wide onto the grass. Spins it right around, and then that tagged. I think it was Peter van der Spy that lost out with that one. Yep, it was Peter van der Spy. Well, he took the whole car apart at that point. Herman Lazarus coming through from behind. Gavin Fleming's going to have to turn it around from there and get it all going again back to the front end of the field. It's still Graham Stevens. He was pushing very hard with the practice and the qualifying as well. Timothy Stanton that's now got a little bit of space, because Leon van Wyk is not under as much pressure anymore from Willem Botha. Willem Botha has actually dropped back a little bit, and I wonder why. I don't see where he has gone off circuit at all. Willem Botha did pass Daniel Lamprechts initially in this race, but Willem Botha has now not been able to really do much at this stage of the fight. It's a case of just hold station. We're 3 minutes 55, lap 3 of a possible 16, 17, maybe even 18 laps at the pace that the guys are going at this stage of the fight. Looking pretty decent out there is Willem Botha. It's great to have him back again. Willem Botha with that South African flag. Fastest lap by Leon van Wyk. So Leon's now starting to turn the taps open. Leon van Wyk closing on the back end of Timothy Stanton. Let's have a look at the intervals there. Yep, there you can see it. 0.3, 3/10 of a second. Leon van Wyk. Daniel Lamprechts hasn't given up on this one either. I mean, Daniel Lamprechts did start on the front row of the grid alongside Graham Stephen, and he's dropped from 2nd down to 5th position. I think the only man to go into the pit so far is Gavin Fleming. Yeah, he's the only one that's gone into the pits. He had that spin coming out into the front main and decided to take it straight into the pits from there. So we'll see where that one fades in at a later stage. You can see he's a little bit further back. What a lovely battle this is. I want to go to the others, but you don't want to miss out on this battle. It's just so close. Let's see what it looks like from inside the car. 4th gear, right up close to the rev limiter, into 5th. Is there enough to go for a dive? He has a look at it. Willem's late on the brakes. Willem goes so late on the brakes that he ends up on a wide line on the 2nd section of that corner, but does get good traction. Look at that fight up front. That's Willem Botha and Leon van Wyk. Leon van Wyk and Timothy Stanton in that battle, just a little bit further ahead. Those two cars that's there. As we ride on board with Daniel Lamprechts right in behind Willem Botha, taking a completely different, a much tighter line that he takes through there. Hard on the brakes, tries to squeeze it up on the inside, but good drive by Willem Botha, who's going to take the straighter line here. Pretty much, very much the same. A little bit harder going in, and holds it as well. That was a lovely piece of driving by Daniel Lamprechts. Look at this. He's right up there. Is there enough straight line to be able to stick it up on the inside? Nope, he's not going to be able to do it there. But he's putting Willem Botha under massive amounts of pressure. Daniel Lamprechts, welcome to Sports GT. Well, puff of dust. I think it was Leon van Wyk that just touched the left-hand wheel, left-hand rear, like that onto the dust. And here comes Daniel Lamprechts. Here comes Lamprechts. I think he's going to make it. He's got the straight line speed. He's up on the inside of Willem Botha. I cannot see that Willem can hold him out from there. Willem does it. Willem Botha, he says, "You the new kid on the block. Where you going, boy? You ain't coming through there." What a lovely battle. Let's go to the battle just in front of that. It's Leon van Wyk and Timothy Stanton. That's that battle for 2nd and 3rd. Well, the nice thing for Graham Stephen, he's up dusted and disappeared right at the beginning. He's got himself a bit of space. And these two are fighting it out, Timothy and Leon. So Timothy in the Red Bull car ahead of the Being IT entry. FIA F4. Exactly the same setup. It's not an open setup. So the wings and everything is the same. Only the brake bias that you can change. Nothing much between Timothy Stanton and Leon. Oh, Leon went in for a nice deep look on that one. And he got it on the exit of of the entry, should I say the exit of the corner, he actually, I think he would have learned from that one and realized that there's a realistic opportunity. Now, having gone off, there's now a bit of a gap between Timothy Stanton and Leon van Wyk. The difference between them is almost 0.8 of a second. Let's see, can Leon van Wyk close back onto the back end of Timothy Stanton, first of all? And second of all, can he stay out of the clutches of Willem Botha? Because he's dropped slightly closer now to Willem Botha. Daniel Lamprecht is in. Daniel Lamprecht is into the pits. He's up on the jacks. Where is he going to come out onto the circuit? You'll probably find he will be ahead of Gavin Fleming. The car's already on the ground. Gavin coming through. He should end up ahead of Gavin because Gavin had the spin and Daniel has not had a spin. Wow, that pit stop is taking forever. Look how long that car is standing there. Did he make a mistake with the settings? Is it possible? Why is it standing so long? And he's still standing there. And in fact, Gavin Fleming goes past. Something's gone wrong. Something has gone wrong for Daniel Lamprecht, and I don't think he's going to be going any further. So Gavin Fleming has come past him. Further up the road is Peter van der Spey. Peter van der Spey is 17 seconds off the leader, and that means that he is then 12 seconds off Sandro Bakari. The big battle, I remember I said, can Leon van Wyk catch back up to Timothy Stanton? The answer to that question is yes. Can Leon van Wyk catch Timothy Stanton and stay out of the clutches of Willem Botha? The answer at the moment is yes, but I think Willem's actually getting closer. I really think that Willem's getting closer. Keep an eye on that one. 1.2 seconds. Willem Botha behind Leon van Wyk. Now remember, Leon can get a little bit of a slipstream from Timothy, but the cars are so similar. I don't really believe that you pick up that much in terms of a slipstream. None of these straights are long enough to really be able to capitalize on the length of the straight, and that car doesn't dig such a big hole in the air. It's very aerodynamic, very sleek, very low, reasonably wide. A tenth of a second. Leon wants to pace. He wants to pace right through until he gets into the front main. And I think that's where he's going to go for it. He's not going to try anything here. It's just a little bit too tight. He's pacing himself, getting right up onto the back, behind into the pits. He got as close as what he could possibly get. Let's have a look, see what it's like to go into the pit lane here. You go in there as quick as you possibly can. You don't want to lose time. There's the pit lane limiter, climbs on it. And that's Graham Stephen. That's in the pit lane in front of him. The red and white, that is Graham Stephen. So Timothy Stanton's the lead man out on track right now, as they work their way around to their pit stops. There he stops. Graham was out very, very quickly. So Daniel Lamprecht is back out on circuit again. That is Daniel Lamprecht. For some other reason, he went in and took a long time for him to come out. He finds himself 14 seconds behind Gavin Fleming. 9 of the 18 possible laps done, 12 minutes into the 25. So pretty much on the halfway mark. Peter van der Spey comes into the pits. You'll see him come up over the rise now. There's Peter van der Spey. He'll come in to stop. And I think Gavin might actually get past. Oh no, his stop was brilliant. What a brilliant stop there by Peter van der Spey, although Gavin has gone past him. They had a lovely dice earlier on between the two of them. Gavin will want as much breathing room as possible to try and stretch Peter van der Spey's legs to be able to get to him in the amount of time that is left. And into the pit lane comes Timothy Stanton. Now, Timothy Stanton on his way into the pits. Where is Herman Lazarus? Herman Lazarus is he going into pits as well? Yes, he is. Herman Lazarus is going in. So this is a deciding factor, because in real terms, Graham Stephen is going to come straight past them. Have a nice day, gents, in the Marlboro car. Away he goes, and there is Leon van Wyk in there behind him as well. Now, has this pit stop's made much of a difference. Everybody has now been in and out. So Graham Stephen, well, should I say, Herman Lazarus on his way out of the pits. There he comes out now. It's Herman Lazarus. Very tight corner that to come out there. 13.5 minutes into the 25. The man that started in pole position, Graham Stephen, leading everybody out at this stage of the fight without too much difficulty. Let's have a look at the pit time, the actual time standing dead still. 5 seconds, 4.5, 4.5, 5, 4.6, 4.6. Gavin Fleming a bit slower on the 7.1. Peter van der Spey, 4.4. That's the quickest pit stop of everybody. And then in excess of 40 seconds for Daniel Lamprecht as such. So let's see who's getting out the biggest top speeds as we watch Graham Stephen. 209, 215 Timothy Stanton, 214 for Herman and Gavin, and Daniel Lamprecht as well. So different lines for different folks. That's the way that they do it. And while we watch Graham Stephen, let's look at the I ratings. A Class B, 4 Class A's, a Class B, a Class C, and 2 Class B's. That's how they rank out there. I don't think we'll have any information on the tires. Everybody pretty much on the same medium tire out there on circuit right now. So that's Graham Stephen. There comes Leon van Wyk. There comes Timothy Stanton. Timothy Stanton has gotten away from Willem Botha. So Willem Botha actually closed up on Timothy Stanton and Leon van Wyk while they were busy with their battle. Lap after lap after lap. He closed on them, got to them almost, and then for some other reason it just went off the boil. He couldn't take it any further forward and now finds himself 6 seconds further back. Coming over the rise, Sandra Bakari, the leading grandmaster. "16 seconds he's got on Herman Lazarus. Very distinctive sound of these FIA F4 cars. As he comes through the S's. Touch and go. Herman Lazarus. Cheapercars.co.za, now Authentic Autos. And not that far behind him, there comes Gavin Fleming in the Haas. Just 3 seconds. Herman Lazarus does a 131.2. That's because of coming out of the pits. Gavin on a 123.479. Keeping in mind that the fastest lap out there so far is in fact a 122.44 by that man, Graham Stephen. Leon van Wyk's not getting left behind. Timothy Stanton's not getting left behind. Willem Botha is battling to stay with him at this stage of the fight. Sandro Bakari, the next man to come through. He's in a total wide open space with the Candy car. A nice camera shot that all the way going through there. Then the next man coming through will be Herman Lazarus. Going down towards the last corner. And it comes over the rise and into turn number 1. Just behind him is Gavin Fleming in the Haas. Daniel Lamprecht not managing to catch up to Gavin yet. And then Peter van der Spey, that was involved with the incident when Gavin Fleming went off right at the beginning of the race, and that left Peter wide out in the open. Gavin Fleming, the last lap that he did was a 23.4, and the next lap, the same lap by Daniel Lamprecht, was a 123.05. So not a lot between the two of them as we watch Peter van der Spey. Where is the biggest battle out there right now? There you can see the gaps between them. As we keep an eye on Peter van der Spey. There's the intervals between them. Oh, Peter, just a little bit too loud on the gas, and he turned it in nice and tight. But he held on to it pretty well. Didn't lose much time there at all. So Graham Stephen comes through to complete yet another lap. Leon van Wyk, Timothy Stanton, Willem Botha pushing the edges 6 seconds further back. Sandra Bakari in the candy car coming out into the front main. 8 seconds further back. Ooh, Herman Lazarus doing a bit of lawn mowing there, cleaning up the tires just a little. You can see how those tires pick up the sand and dirt. And just behind him, not that far behind him, is Gavin Fleming. So let's see, Herman Lazarus, a 126.0, and Gavin in there behind him, a 123.5. So that's quite a noticeable difference between those two. But doing it all right is Graham Stephen. Leon van Wyk now getting away from Timothy Stanton. Willem Botha can see them. Well, let's see, can he actually see them? So right on board with Willem Botha. Not in this section of the track. He cannot see them. It'll have to be where the elevation is in his favor. He sees that dust. He'll be pretty happy with that. That means that somebody is very much on the edge. If you're going to see him, they're going to see him now. And yep, he just gets a glimpse of the cars in front of him. Timothy Stanton, on the other hand, can see exactly what he wants to see. It's right in front of him. It's called Leon van Wyk. And it's around about 1.7 seconds ahead of him, so he'll be hammer and tongs with that one. It looks like Daniel Lamprecht's actually caught up to the back of Gavin Fleming. Yes, he has. The man that was the second fastest qualifier. Trying to work his way through. I don't think Gavin will give that away too easily. Seeing he's not going to be riding the whole series because he'll be leaving back to the States, and it's an 8-hour time difference, so he would be working through his luncheon break at the time that we're racing. So unfortunately, once he leaves in a week or two from now, that'll be the last that he'll be able to practice with the guys here and there, but that's about it. And then we'll have to wait till later in the year when he comes back. Lap number 15 of a possible 18, 2 different lines of exit on that corner. Daniel Lamprecht's trying to have a look at how can he make a plan to get past Gavin Fleming. That is the tightest battle out there right now. 3.5 minutes still to go. 1.6 Timothy Stanton remains off the back of Leon van Wyk. Oh, he's closed up a bit. He's got it down to 1.4 at the moment. So Timothy Stanton is closing slightly on Leon van Wyk. Is there enough slipstream for Daniel Lamprecht on Gavin Fleming? Definitely not. These cars don't seem to have a big slipstream advantage when sitting right in the slipstream of somebody. Graham Stephen from Leon van Wyk, from Timothy Stanton, from Willem Botha. Very proud of his South African colors and heritage. So it looks like Gavin Fleming's closed up on the back of Herman Lazarus. This has become a three-way battle. This is the one. Let's ride on board with Daniel Lamprecht and see what that one looks like. That's what he can see in front of him. Gavin tried that inside line on Herman Lazarus. I think Daniel Lamprecht's pushing him from behind. He's just found some extra pace, and that is how he managed to get onto the back of Herman Lazarus. Although Herman Lazarus did have an incident in lap number 15, and Gavin's going for the pass. He's got to get a move on. If he gets held up behind Herman Lazarus, then he's going to get eaten up by Daniel Lamprecht. And Daniel's got a good run now. Daniel's going to close right up. He's got a double slipstream. We're on the second last lap. There's just over 2 minutes to go. This is a battle royal. Let's hope they all make it through without any problem. He's going to try and have a look up on the inside. And Gavin keeps the hammer down on that outside line. And they'll probably be coming around to pick up that white flag. Or will there be one more to go after this? I think there's going to be one more to go after this one as we ride on board with Daniel Lamprecht. All the others are pretty spread out. Herman Lazarus is trying desperately to keep in front. He can lose 2 positions here pretty easily. And onto the last lap goes our leaders. Daniel Lamprecht trying that outside line, trying to get the slingshot around the outside. And will it work? I think he might actually have it. He's going to be on that. He's still going to be on the outside going through the next set of corners. And he tries to force his way there. Gavin eventually makes sure that he doesn't make any contact with him. So Daniel Lamprecht's the man that started in second position, now trying to fight back. But it's all about this man, Graham Stephen. He got the quickest lap and went to the top of the qualifying. He made it one step quicker. Then he went another lap even quicker than that. Parked it in the pits and said, I've done enough. Got the jump off the line, said, cheers boys, have a nice day. Got himself a bit of breathing space. Let Leon van Wyk and Timothy Stanton fight it out. And from there on out, it was pretty much plain sailing. Graham Stephen, class act out there in the Marlboro FIA F4 as he works his way through. Just a couple of corners to go. There you can see how they're now spread out behind him. So smooth is Graham Stephen. It would be nice to see Michael Stephen back out again. We'll have Gerald Ferry out next week. We'll have Gerald Maget out next week as well. We have Leonardo Bakari will be out next week as well. And there is the checkered flag. Well done, Graham Stephen. The next man that's going to be coming through, Leon van Wyk. That ahead of Timothy Stanton. And then there comes Willem Botha. Well done, Willem. Gave them a good run for their money, seeing you haven't been on the rig for quite a long time because of work commitments. Sandra Bakari, the first of the Grand Masters. He'll pick up his third race victory out of 3 races so far for the season. Herman Lazarus desperately holding out there on Lamprecht. Lamprecht, will he go for a last gasp effort? Gavin Fleming rocked up the right hand front. Lamprecht had a look, but Herman Lazarus, I think, has got enough pace to carry it through there. And he will take it through to the checkered flag. Herman Lazarus from Daniel Lamprecht. Gavin Fleming comes through. And then a little bit further back is Peter van der Spy. So on the invert, Peter van der Spy and Gavin Fleming will be on the front row of the grid. Daniel Lamprecht, that started in the front of race number 1, will now find himself on the second row of the grid. So let's have a look at those results for you. As soon as the computer will give it to us. Heat number 1 in the Masters. Graham Stephen in the 5 car, ahead of the being IT entry of Leon van Wyk from Timothy Stanton, Willem Botha, Herman Lazarus, and then Gavin Fleming. That lovely little battle that they had there towards the end of that one. And if we look at the overall results, then we put in our 2 Grandmasters. Sandra Bakari beating out on Herman Lazarus, Daniel Lamprecht, Gavin Fleming, and Peter van der Spy. So he's had 2 races last week, Wednesday. He won both of them. He's had 1 race now. He's won that as well. And it looks like Peter van der Spy is practicing the starts. He knows he's got to get off the line pretty quickly. So we're going to take a short break, and then we will come back to you with heat number 1. Alrighty-o, let's have a look at that grid. Still Daniel Lamprecht and Gavin Fleming. They need to come in there. So Herman Lazarus and Sandro Bakari at the front end. So it's not a total invert. That's a little bit strange. Not sure how that one plays itself out. Looks like they're actually starting in, I don't know.
Green flag, green flag.
Well, we missed out on that one. Herman Lazarus is the first man that's in there. Herman Lazarus works his way through. It's Willem Botha that's in there behind him. Look at that. So tight. Graham Stephen on the outside line. Sandro Bakari sticks it in there nice and tidy as well. Not going to give away that position is Sandro Bakari. They side by side. Now they cross one another. Very, very close. The candy car of Sandro Bakari. Let's have a look a little bit further forward. There's Willem Botha. Willem Botha, he knows if he can get past Herman Lazarus, he's got to up and run because Graham Stephen is 2 cars further back. There you can see Graham Stephen. That's the 4th car that's in there. Everybody very close. Oh, Willem Botha's going to go for it. Willem Botha is going to make the move. He's not even going to wait till they come to the front straight. Herman Lazarus says, okay, you work quicker than me going in there. Now they're going to be side by side. Timothy Stanton and Graham Stephen. Timothy Stanton stays ahead. Timothy Stanton doesn't give way. Oh, Graham Stephen gets out of the traffic. And Gavin Fleming gets out of the traffic as well. So I'm not going to get stuck in this one. Let's just go straight into the pits. Let's get out of the rough and tumble. Give it to the rest of them. Willem Botha. The battle behind him is Herman Lazarus and Timothy Stanton. Will Timothy make it up on the inside line? No. Timothy Stanton has got Sandro Bakari directly in there behind him. Behind Sandro Bakari is the being IT entry of Leon van Wyk. Then it's Daniel Lamprecht. Lamprecht cannot believe it. He was on the front of the grid for race number 1. Graham Stevens on his way out of the pits. Gavin Fleming is on his way out of the pits. Graham Stevens was standing for longer than Gavin Fleming. That's quite strange. Let's have a look at that. The pit time. Let me see if I can pick that up for you. 4.9 for Graham Stephen. Unless Gavin didn't get enough fuel in because he did come out before him. Either way, it is what it is. It's Willem Botha that's gone to the front. Willem Botha has gone to the front. It's Herman Lazarus. It's Timothy Stanton. It's Sandro Bakari. Ooh, onto the dirt. And Sandro Bakari pulls it back. And Leon says thank you very much. And the Daniel Lamprecht decides to climb in there. Yet another person decides I'm not going to get stuck with this traffic and get myself into trouble. I'd rather go into the pits. And that was Timothy Stanton. He doesn't want to be part of that fight. Willem Botha just put up the fastest lap time. Willem Botha 122.715. Herman Lazarus holding sway in that second from Leon van Wyk. Daniel Lamprecht is back up to that 4th position. Sandro Bakari's got Peter van der Spey directly in behind him. Now 3 out of 3. Sandro Bakari has ended up ahead of Peter van der Spey. How's it going to play itself out this time around? It's going to be interesting to see. Can Peter van der Spey do anything to break the stranglehold of Sandro Bakari? Look at that tantalizing view that he's got in front of him. Looking pretty decent right now for a good position. Peter van der Spey just ramps the curb, sweating it out in there behind Sandro Bakari. Gets a bit of a run on Sandro. He'll close it up quite a bit, but it won't be enough for a passing maneuver. But it'll bring him right in underneath that back wing. Taking a very nice line. Still closing on the back of Sandro Bakari's Peter van der Spey. He's on the move. Peter van der Spey's on the move. Into the last corner he goes. If Sandro doesn't get that one right, and Peter does, it's going to be a passing maneuver, and he dives out onto the outside. This is going to be a run to the line. And I think Peter van der Spey has made it. No, Sandro Bakari is in deep enough. Peter van der Spey just cuts across. Now he's got to stand on the brakes because he's going to run it wide. And he just touches the grass. And Sandro says, thank you very much. That was a valiant effort, but I think I'll take that one back. Daniel Lamprechts onto the back end now of Leon van Wyk in the Moser Racing car. Leon van Wyk onto the back end of Herman Lazarus. Some of the reason Graham Stephen is not able to catch up to the back end of Gavin Fleming. There's Gavin Fleming. There comes Graham Stephen and Timothy Stanton. I would have thought by now Graham would have caught and passed Gavin. Maybe Gavin didn't get that pit stop right. We'll see if he makes it to the end, if he's got enough fuel, because he did go into the pits, and Leon van Wyk is going to go for the move. Leon van Wyk on the inside of Herman Lazarus. Herman backs out of it. Lamprechts tries to force his way through, and there just was not enough space for him there. And that was a naughty knock onto the side of Herman Lazarus. It's my word for the day. Naughty knock, Herman Lazarus. Sandro Bakari. And then Peter van der Spey. The gap between Sandro Bakari and Peter van der Spey is 8 tenths. Sandro Bakari does a 124.0, a 124.8 by Peter. So Peter's losing just a little bit of space at this stage of the fight. Interesting thing here is Gavin Fleming has been in and out of the pits with the Haas car. He's the leading driver that's been in and out of the pits. Graham Stevens not been able to catch him. Timothy Stanton is hanging on to the back by 6 tenths. And the two of them by rights should be able to catch the rookie. Well, even Gavin must be doing something right. Peter van der Spey onto the back end of Sandro Bakari. Just on the edge of that curbstone. Is Sandro Bakari going to have a look at Herman Lazarus in a not too distant future? Herman Lazarus having a very nice second race as opposed to how things went onto the sand. Peter van der Spey just lifts off lightly, uses the whole curbstone. You can hear how they play with the accelerator. A bit of a short change there for Peter van der Spey. 7 tenths off. Graham Stevens taken about 4 tenths out of Gavin Fleming. Timothy Stanton's taken a tenth out of Graham Stevens. So Graham Stevens, got the tail end walking. As we watch that battle in front. Driving on the right side pod of Peter van der Spey. Sandro Bakari on Herman Lazarus. But then again, Daniel Lamprechts is also having a pretty good run, because Daniel Lamprechts finds himself in there behind Leon van Wyk. So having been second fastest in practice, second fastest in quali, then dropping all the way down to 5th in heat number 1, now moving his way back up. Willem Botha's got it all right up front. Willem Botha's got 3.8 seconds on everybody else. Let's have a look at that little battle at the back. Gavin Fleming, Graham Stephen and Timothy Stanton. Gavin just did a 23.6, a 22.95 by Graham, and a 123.05 was into the pits. Leon van Wyk. As Herman Lazarus goes off, he's also got Daniel Lamprechts with him. So the whole thing now is Leon van Wyk versus Gavin Fleming. That is going to be who is going to be the leader of the guys that have already been in and out of the pits. There we go. Leon van Wyk and Daniel Lamprechts. Oh, Leon van Wyk is going pretty quickly. He got going pretty quickly. There on the left-hand side, you'll see Gavin Fleming. I think Leon van Wyk's going to go to the front. There goes Gavin. And there goes Leon out of the pits. So Leon van Wyk is now the lead man that has been in and out of the pits. Gavin Fleming is second of the people that have been in and out of the pits. Graham Stephen is third. Daniel Lamprechts is fourth. Timothy Stanton is in 5th position. But remember, Willem Botha is leading this race. He has not been in and out of the pits. Neither has Peter van der Spey. And Peter van der Spey is ahead of Sandro Bakari. Peter van der Spey. I must try and pick that one up for you. Peter van der Spey. Where did he pass? Peter van der Spey started. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Had to back out with that incident, and that's how Peter van der Spey just kept the hammer down, got it on the inside line, managed to make that one stick, and that is how that one plays itself out. So Leon van Wyk is the lead man of everybody that's been in and out of the pits. If I am correct, yep, that is so. He's 1.5 seconds ahead of Gavin, who in turn finds himself 3 seconds ahead of Graham Stephen, and Graham Stephen has got now Daniel Lamprecht behind him, not Timothy Stanton. Timothy Stanton in there directly behind them. Well, Gavin Fleming did go into the pits, but I see it does show no pit stop. So although we saw him go into the pits, for some other reason it did not register. So it could have been a setup problem for him. I wonder if he's got enough fuel to make it to the end. It's realistically possible that he doesn't have enough fuel then to go all the way to the end. That's going to make for interesting stuff as Willem Botha dives into the pits. What is Peter van der Spey going to do? Peter van der Spey says, have a nice day. I'll go straight past. I'll take up that lead position for you. Herman Lazarus comes in, and he's got Sandro Bakari chomping at the bit directly behind him as they work their way into the pit lane. Now, keep in mind that Willem Botha is on his way out, and the man on circuit that is the leader at the moment is Leon van Wyk. So Willem Botha is going to end up ahead of him on circuit. There comes Willem Botha back out onto the track. How far back is Leon? Leon's not far back at all. Leon's actually made up quite a bit of ground. Graham Stevens just put in his fastest lap so far. I see Gavin Fleming has now gone back into the pits. So he's now on that pit exit. Timothy Stanton and Daniel Lamprecht. That battle's been battle royal. 9 of the possible 18 laps inside of this 25 minutes. 12 and a half minutes in, exactly the halfway mark. And it's looking pretty good right now for Willem Botha. Willem Botha is the lead man that has been in and out of the pits. The next trick is then, oh yes, Peter van der Spey coming in now. Let's have a look at that track map. Let's see how this one's going to play itself out. There's the track map. Peter van der Spey comes in. Where will he now feed back out? The lead man's about to come through. It's Willem Botha. Right, there's Peter. Willem Botha comes through. Second place, Leon van Wyk. Third place, Graham Stephen. Fourth place, Daniel Lamprecht with Timothy Stanton right in there behind him. Then battle going on behind that. Herman Lazarus with Sandro Bakari having the look. Sandro Bakari is having the look. Will he be able to make it through? It looks like it. Side by side. Herman Lazarus just doesn't back out. He says, hey, I'm here. You find a way around me. And Gavin coming off the last corner out into the straight. So Sandro Bakari and Herman Lazarus. That's a killer battle that's going on out there. Now, Herman Lazarus is 5 seconds behind Peter van der Spey. So with 13, almost 14 minutes gone, if Sandro Bakari can get ahead of Herman Lazarus, he's still got to find 5.2 seconds just to get to the back of Peter van der Spey. If nothing goes wrong for Peter van der Spey, he's going to break the stranglehold of Sandro Bakari in this season 13, round number 2. And I think it's possible that he's going to be able to get a victory here at OSCHERSLEBEN in the FIA F4. Everybody on the same setups. Oh, Willem Botha, he's just clocking them in now. Fastest lap, a 122.56. Leon van Wyk, a 123.47. Graham Stephen on a 122.49. Oh, Graham Stephen on a 122.49. He was the quickest man on the last lap. A 122.49 for Graham Stephen. And that means that he took then almost a full second out of Leon van Wyk. So he's out of the rough and tumble. He's out into the open. He's got the hammer down. And he is going to go in search. Remember 2.9? That's the gap. Graham Stephen to Leon van Wyk is 2.9 seconds. Daniel Landbracht's putting himself very well ahead of the Red Bull 77 of Timothy Stanton. Oof. Getting the power down there. Peter van der Spey, he's in go-go mode. Well, Sandro Bakari did get past. I think Herman Lazarus might have had a bit of an off. Yep, he had to just offload the gas just a little bit and get it back together again, and that's what made the difference. So now the question is, Sandro Bakari, who's done a 123.2, sitting behind Herman Lazarus. Peter van der Spey, we did a 123.1 with open ground. Can Sandro Bakari turn up the wick and get any closer? Let's have a look at the amount of time that everybody was standing in the pits. 4.2, Leon van Wyk, he was the best. Then the 4.3 by Willem Botha, 4.5 by Peter van der Spey, Sandro Bakari, 4.6 by Timothy Stanton. So looks like Herman Lazarus was the second slowest, and then Gavin on the 6.4. Obviously he's not as a fay as what the other guys are in terms of getting those pit stops as quick as possible. But Willem Botha is back in and on song ahead of Leon van Wyk. The high-flying Graham Stephen is going to be interesting to see what kind of lap time Graham Stephen did on the last lap. Graham Stephen did a 122.56. Leon did a 123.19. On the hunt is Graham Stephen as they work their way up the front main. Daniel Lamprecht in that fourth position. Fifth is Timothy Stanton. Peter van der Spey. There he comes, and his problem is coming into the straight now. His problem is called Sandro Bakari. That's the man he's got to stay ahead of. 6.3 seconds between Sandro Bakari and Peter van der Spey. Herman Lazarus, he's had a couple of offs here and there, but he's acquitted himself pretty well. I don't think he does as much practicing as everybody else. I don't think he has the time with Authentic Autos to do that amount of practicing. He just goes out there and has a whole bunch of fun. And that is what it actually should be all about. Just going out there and having some fun. Daniel Lamprecht just put up the fastest lap of the race. Yes, Daniel Lamprecht has put up the fastest lap. Let's have a look at best times. There we go. Daniel Lamprecht, so 122.444. He has done the quickest lap, even though Willem Botha, he's sliding it through there. And he's sliding it a bit too much over there. That'll bring Timothy Stanton a little bit closer. So he's obviously realized he's putting in some good times, and he's just trying to hone it to get that a little bit quicker. 18.5 minutes into the 25, 14 out of the 18 laps. Willem Botha still leads them out from Leon van Wyk. Graham Stephen, the high-flying Daniel Lamprecht, the very quick Timothy Stanton. Then a little bit further back is Peter van der Spey. How far is Peter van der Spey from Sandro Bakari? 5.6 seconds. So Peter van der Spey is holding out. Peter van der Spey is holding out on the super-duper quick Sandro Bakari. He doesn't have a way of getting to the back of Peter. Peter's putting up some very good lap times. Peter van der Spey's fastest lap so far has been a 123.1. Sandro Bakari a 122.9, so 2/10, but on the last lap, Peter van der Spy did a 123.5 and Sandro did a 122.9, so 6/10 in it. Is 6/10 going to be enough for Sandro Bakari on 4.5 seconds? That's 6 laps, and there's only 4 to go. Either Peter's got to make a mistake or Sandro's got to turn up the wick somehow. Otherwise, Sandro Bakari is not going to keep that unbeaten record going. He's pushing pretty hard. Has Graham Stephen caught up yet to Leon van Wyk? He's getting closer. He's definitely getting closer. A 123.1, a 122.5, 6/10. 6/10, that's going to be enough. That's 2 laps. And there's 3 laps in it. Leon van Wyk will start feeling the pressure. There's no doubt. He's got to do it millimeter perfect from here on out. Graham Stephen chasing down on the second place Leon van Wyk. Oh, look at that. Beautiful smooth. No understeer, no oversteer. Steering it with the accelerator. A beautiful piece of show driving. It's very, very tight he goes. He cuts those cones the tightest of everybody. I was watching him earlier on and trying to give some feedback back to Gavin Fleming, saying that's one of the spots where he definitely is quicker than you, where he specifically cuts that one so tight. Graham Stephen. We sit on board with Graham Stephen. 21 minutes and 11 seconds into the 25 minutes. Race number 2, OSCHERSLEBEN FIA F4. That is your first, second. Oops, see? Has he run out of fuel? What has gone wrong? Leon van Wyk just slowed right down. Leon van Wyk. What has gone wrong for Leon van Wyk? Can he hold out on Daniel Lamprecht? At this stage, Timothy Stanton's now smelling blood. He can see something's not right up front there. So Leon van Wyk all of a sudden went slower, and Lamprecht is in. Lamprecht, you give him a millimeter and he just forces his nose in. Bit of understeer on the entry to the corner. He must have eaten up those front tires pretty bad. Just under 3 minutes still to go. Daniel Lamprecht. Willem Botha puts in yet another faster step. He's 6 seconds ahead in the lead. He's got no problems there. Herman Lazarus has dropped to the back end of the track. He did have an off track. Let's see if that's what cost him. Yep, that will have cost him quite a bit of time. Goes right off onto the grass. Now he's got to get it back on again. Well, he just kept on going straight. And I think he's going to park it. Herman Lazarus has parked it. He said, I've had enough. I'm not going to battle with this car that doesn't want to handle anymore. Leon van Wyk still holding out on Lamprecht. He has to back out of the gas. Lamprecht is on the inside line. Lamprecht might just get this, but Leon's going to be on the inside for the next corner. Now, I'm pretty sure he's aware that Lamprecht doesn't back out very easy. In the meantime, Timothy Stanton's sitting behind him, and he's, well, you know, he won't admit it, but he's hoping something goes just a little smidgen wrong with the 2 in front of him. 23 minutes, 25 seconds. Massive battle. Timothy Stanton's got the bird's eye view. Watching our new kid on the block, Daniel Lamprecht, having a go at the being IT entry of Leon van Wyk. Also cuts that corner pretty tight. 23 minutes 47 in. Willem Botha, has he come across the line already? No, he hasn't. He's going to come through now. So let's pick up our lead car. There he comes out into the straight. Probably he'll get the white flag. Yep, there's the white flag on the left hand side. Will Graham Stephen be able to see it, or will he be too close to the back of Herman Lazarus? Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to see that one at all. So definitely Herman Lazarus slowed right down and he stopped and then he started going. Oopsie. Oh, that's our leader. That's Willem Botha. Willem Botha that went off the circuit and there's only a half a second between them now. Willem Botha went right off the circuit. And it's all about Willem Botha and Graham Stephen. Graham Stephen's right in there behind him. Graham Stephen and Willem Botha. That's a lap car behind that. That is Herman Lazarus. Daniel Lamprecht that's in that third position. It's on for this last lap of the race. Can you believe it? Willem did it all right. And he made a mistake on the last corner. And he's going to run a bit wide. He's just keeping it as tight as he possibly can. Can you get any closer than that? Graham Stephen right underneath his back bumper. Graham Stephen is right in there. Closing off that inside line. Willem Botha says, you want to go past, you go around the outside, bar. You ain't coming up the inside of me. Snap on the steering. The very last gasp efforts of this race. Willem Botha, as he comes through, will he be able to do it? Will he have the straight line speed? I think he will. I think he will, and that's going to be for the checkered flag. It's going to be Willem Botha that takes it away from a Graham Stephen. Then it's Daniel Lamprecht. It's Timothy Stanton. Then it's going to be Leon van Wyk. Wow, what a turn up for the books that was. There comes Peter van der Spey ahead of Sandro Bakari. He breaks that stranglehold of Sandro Bakari. And then a little bit further back, there comes Gavin Fleming. As he comes through the S's. Turned the wheel in this car for the first time 3 minutes into the practice session this evening. Just proves that practice before the time does help very, very much. So he throws the horse around up towards the last corner. Oopsie, oopsie. Decides to finish it off in style. Tries to turn it right around. Well, if nothing else, go backwards across the line. Do it in style. Now is he going to flick it around? Probably find he'll try and flick it around. Well, if there's no other way to do it, you just go backwards across the line. What a way to finish that race up. And he says, okay, I've had enough of that one. So there we go. That's the results of race number 1. It was Graham Stephen from Leon van Wyk and Timothy. And in race number 2, the feature race, Willem Botha from Graham Stephen and Daniel Lamprecht. So let's just go back to that first one. So Willem Botha had a first in race number 2. And he had a first and a fourth for Willem. Daniel Lamprecht was way down. He was down in 7th position. Okay, so let's have a look at Leon van Wyk. In heat number 1, he got a 2nd and a 5th. Okay, let's have a look at Graham Stephen. Graham Stephen got a 2nd position in the feature race. And in heat number 1, Graham Stephen got a win. So he's the highest point scorer for the day. I would tend to give driver of the day to Gavin Fleming for crossing the line, going backwards. But let's be honest, Graham Stephen was the man on the move today. He was the fastest out there. He was consistent. He worked his way through the necessary traffic, paced himself perfectly, even when he was under pressure from Leon van Wyk. Timothy Stanton once again having a pretty good round there. Heat number 1 coming through in a 3rd position and then a 4th position. So that'll probably make him the 2nd highest point scorer, seeing that Daniel had a 3rd and a 7th or 6th or 7th position. So you'd probably find that Graham Stevens the highest point scorer. Willem Botha would be the 2nd highest point scorer, very close to the score of Timothy Stanton and Leon van Wyk. Sandro Bakari, 3 wins out of 4 starts. Peter van der Spey, 1 win out of 4 starts, and he breaks that stranglehold of Sandro Bakari on the Grand Masters. Well, that's me for now. Thanks very much for joining us. Gary Fleming, Second Gear Productions from the friendly city of Cape Town. And we'll see you next week, same time, for round number 3, season number 3 of Sports and GT Masters and Grand Masters. Cheers, everybody.